Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel, Mr. Loons, and today I'm doing Game Week 38 predictions of the Barclays Premier League. It is the last week of predictions, the last week of the Premier League, and there's some interesting relegation games on Sunday, but we'll be starting off, obviously on the 28th of May, it is Aston Villa at Villa Park facing Brighton, 2-1 to Aston Villa. Brighton, congratulations on getting European football, exactly what they wanted. They're playing fantastic, got a good point against Man City, but really Brighton, they've already secured European football. They're facing Aston Villa, who want to secure 7th place, and they've been pretty well under Unai Emery all season. And at Villa Park, that advantage that they've got, and the fact they've actually got something to fight for, I think that will be the changing point for Aston Villa to win this 2-1. Moving on to the next game, it's Everton at Goodison Park facing AFC Bournemouth, and well, this is a huge game. Obviously, the favourites are going to be Everton, because at Goodison Park, Sean Dyche is their manager, who, when he was at Burnley, he managed to keep Burnley up for many years. But I am going 1-0 to Bournemouth, and I think Everton will completely dominate this game, completely dominate. But I think Bournemouth will get a scrappy corner goal, just about. It'll be 1-0. And the next fixture is going to interlink with this one. It's Leeds United versus Tottenham Hotspur. I'm going 4-3 to Leeds United. Leeds United are at Ellen Road, and last time they faced Tottenham Hotspur, Tottenham won 4-3, and I'm going 4-3 to the other team, Leeds United. I have seen many people actually predict Leeds United to win this. I am also going to say it. But if you look at Leeds United's last game, they lost 3-1 against West Ham. They started that game absolutely brilliantly with a lovely volley by Rodrigo, which they were practicing that in training most probably. Fantastic goal, but they fumbled it. When Batford came off, everything crumbled, and they lost it 3-1 to West Ham, who wasn't really battling or fighting for anything. But with Sam Allardyce, with Leeds United being at home, and yes, I have seen a statistic that they've got a 3% chance of survival, I think they're going to hang on to that hope, and they might be able to do it. Moving on to the next game, it's Brentford versus Manchester City, and I am going for a 2-1 win to Manchester City. Now, Man City last time out drew 1-1 with Brighton and Hove Albion, and of course, they are playing a weaker side because they've won the Premier League. They probably want to rest their players so they don't get injured for the FA Cup final, the Champions League final, and Brentford are missing Ivan Toney because of a suspension that he picked up. But Brentford still have Mbeumo, and I think he's probably going to score to get Brentford that goal. And it could easily be a draw in this game. I'm backing up Man City because they're top of the league. Moving on to the next game, it's Manchester United at Old Trafford facing Fulham FC. 3-1 to Manchester United. I think Alexander Mitrovic is going to score for Fulham because the last 2 games he scored 3 goals. He got 2 goals against Crystal Palace in that 2-2 draw. But going away against Manchester United, who have confirmed Champions League football, and they probably want to confirm 3rd place as well. And the fact that Man United are at their home ground, Old Trafford, the likes of Marcus Rashford, in fact, Anthony Martial getting himself a goal as well, and Casemiro, absolute sensational CDM ever since he joined Manchester United, and before that, been one of the best CDMs in the Premier League, got himself a goal, fantastic. I definitely see Man United winning this 3-1. Moving on to the next game, it's Chelsea at Stamford Bridge facing Newcastle United, who is my favourite team, 1-0 to Newcastle United. Newcastle had a low-scoring 0-0 draw against Leicester City to confirm Champions League football after 20 years. Eddie Howe has done it. And Chelsea performing terribly like they have. Newcastle, they pretty much have nothing to fight for now, Newcastle, other than 3rd place. Newcastle have also picked up a few injuries, so I think this could be a pretty close game. But the fact that Chelsea, they do have a lot of attempts, a lot of shots, you know, they do seem to dominate in possession a lot of the time, but they never score. I don't think they're scoring here. Newcastle having the best defence, it's going to be a clean sheet, and Newcastle are going to edge this 1-0 as they're definitely the favourites and definitely been better than Chelsea all season. Moving on to the next game, it's Leicester City at the King Power Stadium facing West Ham United, and I'm going for a 2-2 draw. I think Leicester will be 2-0 up. I think they'll be 2-0 up, but they'll fumble it, they'll bottle the win, and it'll be 2-2. Because they seem to have fumbled, at the start of the season, they fumbled a lot of results. They were winning, and they fumbled it. They do that a lot of the time. And yes, West Ham have got nothing to play for, really. And they might, in fact, rest a few of their players for the UEFA Europa Conference League final, just in case they don't get any injuries. But West Ham faced Leeds United, who are fighting, and won at 3-1. So I think they could definitely put a bit of an effort there to get a point against Leicester City. I think Leicester will really try this game. Dean Smith's tactic in the last game against Newcastle United was park the bus, go for a point. They also got a clean sheet. Ivinson making loads of really good saves. I think it's going to be a very, very good game, this one. I think Leicester City will probably dominate. They'll fight and fight and fight, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Sorry, Leicester City. I'm saying you're going down. And surprisingly, I am saying Everton to go down and Leeds United to stay up. I probably sound like an absolute mug. Hardly any people have probably said this, but I'm backing Leeds United to stay up and Big Sam to keep them up. Moving on to the next game is at the Emirates Stadium. It's Arsenal facing Wolverhampton Wanderers, and I'm going 1-0 to Arsenal in this game. Wolves got a 1-1 draw against Everton. They could have seeded out their game to be 1-0, but their away form isn't fantastic. It's usually their home form that gets them their wins. Against Arsenal, who have completely fumbled the Premier League title. Both these teams got nothing to play for whatsoever, but Arsenal being the better team in the table, overall season being the better team, with the home advantage, I think they're eventually going to get back on their 2 back-to-back losses and get a win against Wolves. Moving on to the next game, it's Southampton at the St Mary's facing Liverpool, and I'm going 3-1 to Liverpool. I think Southampton might take the lead, and they might play not as bad as a lot of people are going to think. They might go for pride, and they might get a goal. Liverpool don't really have much to play for because they've confirmed European football. They missed out on Champions League football, but it's really the start of the season, you know, it's absolutely shambolic. They managed to get back into it with a good last 10 games. And I think they'll definitely win this because Southampton are last, Liverpool are 5th. It's logical to say Liverpool are going to win this 3-1. Moving on to the last game, it's Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. And Nottingham Forest do stay up under Steve Cooper. He does it again, doing fantastic to keep Nottingham Forest in the Premier League for another year. He turned everything around in the Championship to get Nottingham Forest promoted. He did everything in his power to keep Nottingham Forest up in the Premier League. But Crystal Palace, I'm going to say, are going to win this 2-0. Nottingham Forest, I believe, have only won once or something crazy like that away from home, so I don't see them winning this game. And Crystal Palace at their home stadium as well, Selhurst Park, and with Roy Hodgson, you know, managing the team, Roy Hodgson has somehow changed something to get Crystal Palace loads of points, loads of wins on the board. And with Eze and Elise, they're going to have a masterclass game to put this 2-0 to Crystal Palace. Now, last week, I did finish off with 5 points out of 20 points. Overall, putting me on 204 points out of 736 points. But I also did get 3 points on the midweek games. So that puts me on 207 points out of 740 points. So yes, I have predicted Leeds United to stay up, Everton to finish in 18th, and Leicester to finish in 19th. So I am saying Everton will get relegated for the first time ever from the Premier League. You know what? I might sound like an absolute mug, but I'm going for it. I'm going for a huge long shot. There's still a chance this can happen. And yes, there's only a 3% chance for this to happen, according to some statistics I saw. But I'm going for it. I'm backing up Leeds United. Hopefully you can like and subscribe. And always remember to turn on notifications so you don't miss one of my fantastic YouTube videos. I will see you next time. Toodle pip now.